We often think attraction is about looks, clear skin, toned muscles, shiny hair, and fashionable clothes. And while physical appearance might be the initial hook, it's never the full picture. Over time, what makes someone truly attractive isn't just what they look like. It's how they make others feel, how they show up in conversations, and how they carry themselves emotionally and mentally. Attraction is as psychological as it is physical, and surprisingly, some behaviors we barely notice in ourselves can slowly push people away. These habits, mindsets, and emotional patterns can erode connection, dampen charm, and make us seem less desirable without us even realizing it. Let's uncover 8 deeply psychological things that can make us less attractive, and how understanding them can help us grow into someone others genuinely want to be around. The first psychological trait that can make us less attractive is constant negativity. Everyone goes through hard times, and venting once in a while is normal. But when complaining becomes a lifestyle, when every conversation centers around what's wrong with life, people, or the world, it drains those around us. Negativity is like secondhand smoke. It poisons the air even if you're not the one breathing it directly. Chronically negative people don't just express dissatisfaction, they radiate it. Their energy becomes heavy, and their presence becomes something others want to avoid. Optimism isn't about being fake, it's about balance. People are drawn to those who can acknowledge struggles but still find light, humor, or lessons in them. Constant negativity signals emotional exhaustion, and over time, it makes others feel emotionally burdened, not emotionally uplifted. The second is neediness and emotional dependence. Emotional connection is a beautiful part of any relationship. But when one person leans so heavily on another that they can't feel okay without constant reassurance, validation, or attention, it becomes suffocating. Emotional neediness tells others, "I don't feel whole unless you fix me." And that can create an unbalanced dynamic. People might initially feel flattered by your openness or your vulnerability, but soon, it starts to feel like pressure. Being someone's emotional crutch can lead to resentment. What's more attractive is emotional independence. Being able to share your heart without needing someone else to stabilize it. People are naturally drawn to those who seem grounded, centered, and capable of self-soothing. Another subtle yet powerful turnoff is lack of confidence disguised as humility. It might seem endearing at first. Someone downplaying their abilities, brushing off compliments, or being overly modest. But over time, excessive self-deprecation becomes tiring. When someone constantly puts themselves down or refuses to acknowledge their worth, it doesn't just come across as humility, it comes across as insecurity. Confidence is magnetic, not because it's loud, but because it's rooted in quiet self-respect. You don't have to brag or dominate conversations, but believing in yourself without needing approval is attractive. When someone doesn't see their own value, it's hard for others to keep reminding them of it forever. Eventually, the effort of trying to convince someone they're worthy becomes emotionally exhausting. Fourth is poor emotional control, especially frequent outbursts or emotional volatility. When a person is unpredictable, when small things lead to big reactions, it makes others feel unsafe. Not necessarily physically unsafe, but emotionally unstable. Walking on eggshells is not attractive, it's draining. People want to be around others who can process their emotions without projecting them. Those who lash out when things don't go their way, throw tantrums over minor inconveniences, or blame others for their own emotional reactions create emotional chaos. Emotional maturity, on the other hand, is powerfully attractive. The ability to pause, reflect, and respond calmly shows strength. It communicates that you are in control of your inner world, and that makes others feel safe in your presence. The fifth psychological behavior that lowers attractiveness is talking too much about yourself and not asking about others. Conversation is a two-way street. When someone constantly steers the dialogue back to themselves, it signals self-centeredness or insecurity. It tells others, "I'm more interested in being heard than hearing you." At first, people may tolerate this, especially if you're charismatic. But over time, it becomes clear that the relationship lacks mutual curiosity. People are attracted to those who make them feel seen, not just those who want to be seen. Being genuinely interested in others, asking thoughtful questions, listening attentively, remembering details, creates emotional intimacy. If you dominate the conversation, people may feel invisible, and that slowly chips away at the connection. Sixth on the list is being overly judgmental or critical. No one likes to feel constantly evaluated. When someone always points out flaws, mistakes, or things they disagree with, it creates a hostile environment. Whether you're criticizing others behind their backs or constantly correcting people in conversation, it sends the message that nothing is ever good enough. This kind of personality may stem from perfectionism or insecurity, but to others, it feels cold and harsh. It can make people feel small or unworthy. Compassion and understanding, even in disagreement, are far more attractive. People want to feel emotionally safe, not constantly judged. The most magnetic people know how to offer feedback with grace, not superiority. Another unattractive psychological trait is a victim mindset. This doesn't mean you haven't experienced real pain or trauma. Many people have. But when someone consistently sees themselves as powerless, blames the world for their problems, and refuses to take accountability for their actions, it becomes emotionally draining. The victim mindset pushes people away because it leaves no room for growth, responsibility, or solution-focused thinking. Attraction is often about energy, and those who emit agency, resilience, and hope are much more appealing than those who stay stuck in helplessness. Being open about your struggles can be powerful, but staying locked in a narrative of endless suffering makes people feel like no matter how much they support you, it will never be enough. Whether it's trying too hard to impress, mimicking others to fit in, hiding your real opinions, or putting on a persona you think others will like, it all reads as fake. Authenticity doesn't mean oversharing or being brutally honest at all times. It means being true to who you are, even when it's uncomfortable. When you try too hard to be someone else, it creates a disconnect. People don't fall for perfection. They fall for realness. They fall for the quirks, the truths, and the vulnerability that comes with genuine self-expression. Pretending may get attention, but authenticity earns admiration. These 8 traits often go unnoticed in ourselves, not because we're bad people, but because they're deeply rooted in how we've learned to survive. Maybe we learned to please others to stay safe. Maybe we became negative to avoid disappointment. Maybe we criticize others because we fear being criticized. These psychological habits don't make us unlovable. They just make connection harder. The good news is, self-awareness is the first step toward change. Once you know what's holding you back, you can begin the slow, steady process of healing, growing, and evolving into someone who attracts not just attention, but respect, admiration, and deep connection. True attraction goes beyond the surface. It's not about being perfect, but about being emotionally present, mentally strong, and self-aware. When you walk through life with curiosity instead of judgment, with authenticity instead of pretense, and with confidence instead of insecurity, you radiate a kind of attractiveness that isn't based on appearance, it's based on energy. People remember how you make them feel, how deeply you listen, and how safely they can be themselves around you. If you recognize any of these 8 psychological traits in yourself, don't panic. They're not permanent, they're patterns, and patterns can be changed. By working on emotional regulation, building confidence, cultivating empathy, and embracing authenticity, you not only become more attractive to others, you become more aligned with yourself. And that alignment is the most beautiful thing you can wear. Being attractive isn't about chasing people. It's about becoming someone worth chasing. It's not about performing. It's about being. It's not about impressing. It's about connecting. When you shift your focus from external validation to internal transformation, you stop trying to fit into others' expectations and start living in a way that draws the right people into your life. People who see you, value you, and want to grow with you. So the next time you wonder why certain connections don't stick or why attraction fades quickly, don't just look outward, look inward. Not to blame yourself, but to empower yourself. Because the most magnetic force in any relationship is self-awareness. And the more you cultivate it, the more you'll notice that your outer world begins to reflect the strength, clarity, and authenticity you've built inside. That's what true attractiveness is all about.